Hey, you. Ugh. Oh, my God. I think it's time we talk about President Biden. Hello, and welcome to Bearded Politics. Today was quite the news day. I mean, whew, we talking, things might start changing type news day. Now, if y'all ain't seen it, our commander-in-chief was basically labeled too old and senile to press charges on his, well, he basically committed the same crimes that President Trump did, except for at this point when he had done it, it was an actual crime. Because when he took those classified documents, he was a vice president, so he could not deem things unclassified. Like, he couldn't just declassify something at a whim like a president could. So when Biden took these top secret presidential documents so that he could make his memoirs, so he could use his ghostwriter to write his amazing story, he was breaking the law. So a special counsel was made to look into this, and it was determined that he in fact did do these things. I'll end up showing the picture of where it was, because I'm going to show the video of what his response was, because boy, I tell you, all of his supporters are chomping at the bit now to basically just get him out, because not only there's going to be some light defending and everything, from his press secretary, John Pierre, whatever. But CNN, MSNBC, all of them are fact checking him and, going through the lies that he tells. On a normal basis, but they're actually going after him now. Now, I'm not celebrating them. I think they were finally told that, hey, it's okay to make fun of this guy, right? But boy, it is interesting. It is so interesting to watch, because now that they finally have turned on him, I guess they went old camel face in there so that, they can guarantee that he's not going to run again, because it would be absolutely political suicide for him to run with as much momentum as President Trump has got right now. But let's take a look at this video, because the reporters that are there are pretty ruthless. Let's take a look. All right, let me flip over here.
I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business.
He's seriously saying, damn.
Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of...
We can't even finish
Every
the
Memorial Day
sentences.
we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away, or if he passed away.
Something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president, I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's totally
Put the country back on its feet.
And can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad I let you speak.
What does that even mean?
That's
Look at his face. Look at Peter Ducey's face.
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Mr. President, for months when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, "Watch me." Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They express concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Why does it have to be you now? What is your answer to that question?
Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be President of the United States and finish the job I started.
Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. He's the most qualified person to run the United States. These are his own words. Most qualified candidate to be running as United States president. Come on, man. In words of Joe, come on, man. You're telling me in his brain, he's thinking that he is the most qualified candidate out there. Dude, you got to hang up the cape, man. Take the Letterman jacket off. It's obviously past your time. But here's one thing I want us to consider. People that are in, in the conservative space, is we don't want him to drop out. And as much as I want President Trump to win in a landslide, I want him to do it in a clean victory. Like, we can all say it in a very censored way that 2020's election was very suspect, okay? I don't want anybody to ever accuse the right of doing something like that. Mail-in ballots and just throwing them away, or, dead people voting. I'm sure no matter what side you're on, like, inevitably that type of stuff happens. But, I mean, showing your ID when you have to vote, I think is a really good way of knocking that out, Now, this might sound controversial, but like, let's say you go to vote. Not only do you have to show your ID, but you have to input your social security number. I think that'll cut out a lot of these suspicious votes, or will also knock out the fact that you got states out there that are wanting illegals to vote. And, I would imagine that the majority of us, that doesn't sit very well with. I hope it doesn't. But I don't want to derail too far from President Biden. I'm using president very loosely there. How are y'all feeling about that? Like, so the special counsel basically put together this 200-page document where they investigated Sleepy Joe. And basically they looked into when the whole thing came out about Trump having documents at Mar-a-Lago, like shortly after, there was a video of our dear president like backing out of his driveway in his Delaware home, and lo and behold, there was a big box of documents there, just kind of easily visible. And so, and keep in mind too, like before that video of Biden had happened, and like after Mar-a-Lago, there was old Sleepy Joe in the middle being like, "Oh, they know that I take top secret documents very seriously. Like, people know this about me." Like, why would we know that? Like, is that a thing? Like, think to your friends that you have it at, wherever you live. Do you have a good buddy that you just know he's super into organization of his top secret documents? Like, is that a thing? Is that a character trait? But he was riding around on his high horse, doing his little interviews with MSNBCs and the CNNs and talking about like, how dare Trump not take this seriously? He's got all these confidential documents floating around out there in the privacy of his own mansion. How dare he, use the powers of a president and declassify something and then take it into his house and not actually commit a crime, but we're going to parade him around looking like he's committing a crime. And then, Sleepy Joe did the same thing, except for when he did it this time, he actually committed a crime because a vice president cannot do that. So when he took those documents with him, he actually committed the very crime that he was accusing Donald Trump of. But Donald Trump is looking at tons of felony charges, whereas President Biden is not looking at any jail time. In Her's document, he recommended that they didn't move further with a criminal proceeding because he thought that the jury, it would be a waste of time because the jury would just look at him as an old man that was too senile to remember. Like, that's just another Democrat that's getting away with the same crimes that they're committing the conservative people of doing. And this happens over and over and over again. I would like to think that I'm not the only one getting sick and fucking tired of this because it's absolutely bonkers that a whole, like, witch trial can happen over something as pedantic as classified documents, that a president can declassify at any given time. He doesn't have to tell anybody. He doesn't have to do any sort of ceremony. He could just say, these are declassified to himself in his brain and take them with him. Because if that was truly a crime, then George W. and Barack Obama committed the same damn crimes. And that's the stuff that we're just not talking about. If you're going to prosecute Donald Trump over this, you have to prosecute all of them. And you can't point at George W. and say, well, he was a Republican and we didn't charge him. He, in retrospect, after his time, is of the same cloth as Barack Obama and the Joe Bidens. He is just as liberal now as they are. Like, he ran on the Republican ticket, but I'm not going to get lost in the George W. Bush thing. But what I'm saying is they won't prosecute those guys because they're one of their guys. One of the Skull and Bones, one of the Yale, Harvard, whoever graduated with the right people, your dad worked with my dad, that type of stuff. And old Donnie Trump is not one of those guys. He says, fuck you to your money, and you're buying me with all of your lobbyists and all that stuff. I don't need your money. And that's why they have been after him since day one. Like, the whole media space can't even operate without mentioning his name. I would love to see a counter of, let's say, from 2020 to 2024, so January 1st of each year, right? So over 4-year space, like, how many times they say his name? He wasn't even president anymore. He was a private citizen. How many times they say his name? Like, they can't make good media without him. So whether he's a villain or he's doing good or whatever, they just can't stop talking about him. And why wouldn't they pursue him in this criminal this kangaroo court over some bullcrap that they made up just so that he couldn't run? Well, it backfired because he has now more support than ever. And you can't say the same thing about old Sleepy Joe. Who has confidence in that man right now? Who's voting for him? Who is excited for him to run on this ticket? Nobody. Nobody. Jill Biden doesn't want his ass to run. Come on. The dude's 80 years old. I mean, honestly, I feel like we can get behind a guy that's not 80 years old. I mean, as much as I'm a Trump fan, he's pretty old. Now, mental acuity, he's a lot sharper. But that shouldn't even be in the conversation when you're talking about the leader of the free world. And, this particular episode is about her and the special counsel and Joe Biden. I kind of skipped past the whole Tucker and Putin thing just because I feel like everybody and their mother's talking about it right now. But the good news is it's going to open up the door for a lot more conversation. With everything that Putin had said, it makes you just rethink the narrative that we've been fed forever. Russia bad, Trump bad, Orange Man bad. Ugh. Well, let's just think a little bit. Like, the people that are telling you that this guy is so bad, he's evil, he's racist, he said mean things, those are the same people that will turn around and turn a blind eye to one of their guys doing the same fucking thing. The same thing. But instead, this time, it is actually a crime because he was a vice president, not an actual president, when this happened. And part of the narrative, and I'm going to use the word narrative because, there's always a second side of the story or whatever. Part of the narrative of this 200 and some odd page document special counsel came up with is that this classified material he used in his memoirs. He read them to his ghostwriter. So one of the things that they're saying is, like, not only did he keep these these classified documents labeled top secret in this garage, in this beat up old box, like just open for anybody to see. He also used some of that material in his autobiography, and it was said that people that were in the area or the space or whenever this happened, that he would read part of these top secret documents to his ghostwriter. Like, come on. And by looking at this, he couldn't have declassified it because he didn't have the ability to declassify it because he wasn't president yet when this happened. So, crime. And when you look at the Democratic media, the legacy media spin is that they're like, well, the headline should be that he didn't commit a crime, not that he was too old and senile to prosecute him. But that's crazy that they're saying that, because that's not a win. That's like they're trying to spin it as if like he won, like he didn't commit a crime, like, and like he had his lawyer up there talking about it, saying like, oh, they didn't find this, they didn't find this, they didn't find this. Dude, like, it's in there. It's black and white. It says they found that he did these things, and the only reason that they're not prosecuting him is because they're saying that it wouldn't be worth their time because a jury would find out that he's super fucking old, and they would be thinking, oh, well, he's well-to-do old guy. Like, that's the quote. That he didn't mean to, just because his mental acuity is going. Not that he didn't commit it, because it's very black and white that he committed the crime, that he could just get away with it because, A, he's a Democrat, and Democrats can just do whatever the fuck they want. And then B, he's just too old. He's just too old. But he's not too old to run a country and potentially run it again. Like, that's what's so crazy. And this one's got me a little excited, as you guys could probably tell, but like, this is reality, guys. Like, this is the reality. Do you guys feel like you're in Bizarro world yet, where everything's upside down? Like, where it just the common sense things just don't make any sense anymore? Guys, I say this every episode, but something's got to give. Something has to change. This is craziness. Like, dude, I would say I can't wait for November, but like, I don't know what's going to come up next. Like, I would think that this would be a win for us. Like, for conservatives, this would be a win that we could say, finally, look, here is a nonpartisan view at this super old guy that you guys somehow are weekend at Bernieing for 4 years while you're playing president in the background. And we're like, here you go, here's the evidence, black and white. And they're still like, oh, well, it doesn't say this or it doesn't say that. Bullshit, it does say it. It says he committed the crime, but they're not going to prosecute him because he's too old. Guys, I'm not usually this angry about a subject, but like, we are letting this happen. We, as Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, whatever you want to call yourself, patriots, we're letting this happen. Like, I guess I can't be the idea guy of saying we need to do this, other than you better damn well vote come November. There is no excuse for you not to vote. And let's hope that they're not going to pull some shenanigans and like do mail-in bullcrap anymore, or just say, oh, it doesn't matter because rigged anyways. We have to vote. You have to. If you don't, we're going to end up with this bullcrap again. And this happened over 4 years. Now, when I say this, pick something that sucks right now. Hyperinflation, migration crisis. Now, I know that these seem like more relevant topics like right now, but they were in the works since day one. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, the United States wasn't like burned down in a day either. Even though shortly after the election, with the protests for the 3 letters that I'm not going to name, burned down major cities in protests. But they're after the people for January 6th. Come on, dude. Come on, man. As Joe Biden puts it. How you gonna have a group of different people burn down cities in the name of something, and then you have a different group of people that's just like, I would say mostly peaceful, that were allowed to walk in, take a tour of the place, didn't burn anything down, and you're gonna be after them for 20 years? Just holding them hostage just because they scared you in your own backyard? Man, something got to change, dude. Something got to change. But anyways, I think it's about time to wrap it up. I really appreciate your time, and like, let's get together and let's figure this out. Something's got to change. God bless America. Thank you for your time.